Yep, the Denver Nuggets are back after a couple of days off. They play versus the New Orleans Pelicans in game 3 of the in-season tournament. We got to talk about the NBA power rankings. Where do the Nuggets stand? And if you had to put your personal top 10 best teams in the NBA together, where would you slot them? We also got to talk about the bench. Will this be the night that the Denver Nuggets figure out their bench woes? We got more and more to come here on Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper, and I am so excited. We got NBA basketball back tonight for your Denver Nuggets. We get a chance to tap in and see what this team is going to do after coming off yet another clutch victory versus the Los Angeles Clippers, and the Denver Nuggets have an opportunity to get 3 games, go 3-0, 3-0 in the in-season tournament, y'all. So this is going to be an action-packed show. First off, shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all being here. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and share because we're growing this Locked On Nuggets community. Can we get to 10,000 subscribers on the YouTube side on the Locked On Nuggets? Look, I'm telling you right now, I can't wait, y'all. I hope y'all having a spectacular day. You see, I'm turned up to 10 today because we get to see Nikola Jokic. We get to see KCP, MPJ, AG versus the New Orleans Pelicans. And again, if they go up 3-0 today in the in-season tournament, then they get a chance to put themselves in rarefied air, be one of the few unbeaten teams after 3 games in the in-season tournament. So this is going to be really, really, really excited, y'all. We got to talk about the NBA power ranking. So what I thought would be fun, and I would love for the comment section for y'all to be involved in this because this would be really fun for us to do. So if we had to put our top 10 teams together in the NBA, I want to see how you would sort it. Now, to make it a little bit easier, if you want to do top 5, that's it. You got access to the chat. So if you, for the next few minutes while we're doing this, who are your top 5 to 10 teams in the NBA? Because right now, Bleacher Report just put out an article. The trusted Andy Bailey, the wonderful Andy Bailey. Everybody knows who that is if you are a part of the Denver Nuggets Twitter community, especially. Now, the Denver Nuggets were slotted at the number 1 spot in the NBA. Obviously, they lost to Houston, and then they were able to beat the Clippers. But the Nuggets have been sailing for most of the year. The Nuggets are sitting at 9-2 on the season. They've been playing elite level basketball. So if you look at the top 10 on Bleacher Report, you got the Houston Rockets at 10. You have the Phoenix Suns at 9 at 5-6. You have the Indiana Pacers at 7-4. You have the Milwaukee Bucks at 7-4. You have the Oklahoma City Thunder at 8-4. They're number 6. And then when you get into the top 5, you got the Dallas Mavericks at 9-3 at 5. You have the Minnesota Timberwolves at 8-3 at 4. You have the Philadelphia 76ers at 8-3 at 3. And then you have the Boston Celtics at 2 at 9-2, and the Denver Nuggets at 1 at 9-2. So this is what I'll say. If you just look around the league, the Boston Celtics have been excellent this year. The Philadelphia 76ers have been excellent this year. The Miami Heat, hey, sleep if you want. Miami Heat look good, and they have been winning. I think they just won their 7th straight game. They're 8-4 now on the year with a plus 0.4 net rating. So the net rating stuff isn't great, but the Miami Heat are cooking, and they won 7 straight games to get to 8-4, man. So if I had to say the teams that I'm most impressed with this year, Denver Nuggets, Minnesota Timberwolves, I think the Dallas Mavericks have exceeded expectations. I think that the Houston Rockets have exceeded expectations. I think that the Philadelphia 76ers have exceeded expectations. Because again, y'all remember, a lot of us that thought when James Harden left that they were going to struggle. Tyrese Maxey's taking an all-NBA league. Joel Embiid has been a better playmaker and playing better this year. But Nicholas Batum, Robert Covington, DeAnthony Melton, Tobias Harris, their role players have really stepped up so far this season, and it's really aided them. Paul Reed's been good off the bench as well. And then obviously, you're looking at the Milwaukee Bucks, they're figuring things out slowly. Their defense is still not good. They're not playing good defense. They have a negative 0.7 net rating so far in the year. And Giannis is not having a good season. Giannis is his lowest box plus minus for Andy Bailey since 2015-16. Damian Lillard had a really good game. He had 37 points in game one, I believe. He had 37 points yesterday and 13 assists. Now, they played the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors can't score. They don't have a good offense at all. But it's still shout out to them. So if I had to put my top five together, the Nuggets would be at 1. I think the Nuggets have a great win profile. They've also been winning now 3 straight games without Jamal Murray. 3 games they've won without Jamal Murray. And then on top of that, they're going to face the Pelicans today. They have a daunting road task that's up ahead. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit when we get to the Nuggets Pelicans preview, because there's some interesting comments made from Michael Malone about Jamal Murray. But I think if you look at their win profile, I think that the Boston Celtics are really freaking good. From Drew Holiday to Derek White to Jaylen Brown to Jason Tatum to Kristaps Porzingis. I mean, they just have like Al Horford. They just have a lot of really good players, and they have been playing very good basketball. They got a good key win without Jaylen Brown and Kristaps Porzingis over the Philadelphia 76ers in Philly the other day. And I think that Jason Tatum, man, like, this is a player, like, honestly, if he was a dude that played maybe in a different style offense, man, like, I think Jason Tatum could be a top 3 player. He's 6'10", super long athletic wing, plays great defense, really good offensive player. I really love Jason Tatum, man. He's really an incredible player. I'll put the Boston Celtics at 2. I think, y'all, I'm probably putting the Philadelphia 76ers at 3. And the reason I put the 76ers at 3, I think that, like, they have exceeded expectations, but they've also been a really, really freaking good team on both ends of the ball. Now, they obviously struggled a little bit this last game, obviously getting some stops, and I think Embiid had a really down game, didn't play well. I think he only had like 20 points or something like that. 76ers fans were not happy with how he performed at all, just because he just wasn't engaged, especially defensively. But if you look at the net ratings in the NBA, they have the 3rd best net rating. They have a 111 defensive rating. That actually takes them out of the top 10 now. They're at 11 now. But they also have 118.7 offensive rating, which is the best offense, or the 4th best offense in the NBA. So I think I'm putting Nuggets 1, I'm putting the Boston Celtics at 2, I'm putting the 76ers at 3, and then my 4th best team is going to be the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, Minnesota barely squeaked out a win versus the Warriors, and they also got blown out by the Suns. The Suns dropped 133 points on them. I think in that game, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, they both had 31 points in that game, both of them. So I think, too, man, when they get healthy, bro, they're going to be a problem. The Suns are going to be really good this year. So I'm going to put the Minnesota Timberwolves, the league's best defense. I'm going to put them at number 4. Anthony Edwards, 26 points and 5.5 assists so far this year. And Rudy Gobert is the DPOY favorite right now. So I'm going to put the Minnesota Timberwolves at 4. And then my 5th best team so far in the league, I think I'm going to go with the Dallas Mavericks. Now, from a net rating standpoint, they're 8th in net rating. They're behind the Knicks, the Rockets, the Thunder, and the Wolves, the 76ers, the Nuggets, and the Celtics. But I think, again, you beat who's in front of you. They're 9-3. Luka Doncic is having an MVP caliber season again. He's shooting the ball well. The team is playing well around him for the most part. And if you look at, which we're going to talk about also as well, the new MVP awards tracker. So Luka Doncic is 2nd on NBA.com's. As of today, he's 2nd on NBA.com's MVP ladder. The list goes for today. I just put a tweet up. Make sure, again, you follow me at Swipe Cam if you want more basketball-related content. So the MVP ladder for NBA.com is Nikola Jokic at 1, Luka Doncic at 2, Joel Embiid at 3, Jason Tatum at 4, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 5. If you look at Basketball Reference MVP tracker, it's Nikola Jokic at 1 with an 81% likelihood to win MVP as of right now. Joel Embiid, Tyrese Halliburton, Jason Tatum, and Tyrese Maxey. So Luka isn't on that list, but he's number 6. He didn't make top 5, but on the season, he's averaging 31 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 8.1 assists. So I actually think Luka is probably going to be third in the MVP race if you had to actually just kind of go off of what's been played in basketball so far. But yeah, let me know in the comment section, who is your top 5 teams in the NBA if you're watching this live or if you're watching this after. Because y'all, we got to tap into the Denver Nuggets versus the New Orleans Pelicans. We're going to preview tonight's matchup. And then in the third segment, we're going to talk about the bench as well. So we will be back for segment 2 of Locked On Nuggets. Now, this show is sponsored by BetterHelp, and I know, especially around the holidays, y'all, it can be really difficult for some of us, as some of us might not have family members, or we might not be able to see family members, or some of us just, we might be in a situation where we're not in a good relationship with the people that helped to raise us. And whenever you're getting to this time of year, depression and all that can really kick in for many of us. But I think therapy is actually a really bright spot amidst the holiday gloom. A lot of the pressure and change of the seasons. We're getting ready to go into winter on December 21st. And obviously we're in the middle of fall. And so if all of y'all, if you do feel like you're feeling pressure, if you need help, as somebody who has benefited myself from doing therapy, especially from talking to people I trust, make sure you give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's super convenient, very flexible to your schedule. All you got to do is fill out a brief questionnaire. You can get matched with a licensed therapist, and then that way you can just get some of the help that you need. So find your bright spot this season with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA today to get 10% off of your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. Now, also, y'all, so I am trying to get some tickets to a concert. So the other day, literally the other day, I have a friend who wants to see it's the Rod Wave concert. And so I started looking up some of the ticket prices to see what things are going to cost, what things are going to whatever. And what it does is Game Time actually gives you a layout for where you will be sitting, and it gives you a layout for how much the cost is for where you would be sitting. And it gives you locations in different cities as well. Like if you want to be in Atlanta, if you want to be in Denver, you want to be in Charlotte, you want to be in New York, you want to be in Miami, and you want to find out where the best concerts are and all that other stuff, you can actually use this as well. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Yeah, we are back for segment 2 of Locked On Nuggets, and your Denver Nuggets take on the New Orleans Pelicans for game 3 of the in-season tournament. And y'all, I think today is going to be a really, really fun game to watch. Yes, today is a tournament game. Again, today is an in-season tournament game, Alexander. And so you could actually look this up on NBA.com. The Denver Nuggets, they play versus the New Orleans Pelicans. And then they have, I believe, on the 24th, which is next Friday, they play at Houston. So they're playing at the Pelicans today, and then they're playing at Houston next Friday. So this is going to be a really fun game and a really fun opportunity. So I'm telling you, man, we're in a situation right now where I think that there can be some real ground that the Nuggets put up today if they win this game. So if the Nuggets win today, they're going to go up 3-0. And then the Houston Rockets are playing versus the Clippers. So let's just say this. Say the Clippers win tonight. The Clippers are actually putting Russell Westbrook on the bench. And shout out to Russell Westbrook. He actually voluntarily decided that he wanted to go to the bench because he just wants the starting unit to mesh a little more. He wants the team chemistry to get better. And so Russ, who has historically been a very selfless player, decided that he wanted to do what's best for the team. And so shout out to Russ for doing that. So if the Clippers beat the Houston Rockets, they're going to be sitting at 1-1. The Nuggets are going to be sitting, if they win tonight, at 3-0 to create some real room between them and the Rockets to take some pressure off as well. Because even if they win tonight, the Rockets do, and they get up to 2-1, and the Nuggets are 3-0, then everything comes down to the Nuggets winning next week, but also if the point differential also leans towards them. Right now, the Nuggets are 2-0 with a plus 14 point differential. The Houston Rockets are 1-0 with a plus 3 point differential. So if they win tonight, that will put them up even higher on that. And that way, if you get to the end of the tournament, then you're tied with somebody. The point differential is what will put you over the top. So the Nuggets, they do, if they can, need to come out and play a really intensive game today. But what to expect from the Denver Nuggets tonight versus the New Orleans Pelicans? Now, the Pelicans have historically given the Nuggets a little bit of problems in New Orleans for whatever reason. If you look at the line for tonight, the line is set at -5.5 for the Denver Nuggets. Yeah, Boston went crazy. -5.5 for the Denver Nuggets. This game is expected to go over the over at 226.5. So the money is on Denver, and the over is on Denver as well. Now, if you look at the season performance, the Denver Nuggets are 9-2. The Pelicans are 5-6. The Nuggets are 8-2 in their last 10. The Pelicans are 4-6 in their last 10. And obviously, Nikola Jokic is having yet another all-time season this year. If you look at his overall numbers, he's averaging 30 points a game, 14 rebounds, 8.3 assists, and he's shooting 65% from true shooting. And he's shooting like 57, 58% from the field as well. Obviously, Reggie Jackson has done a really good job filling in for Jamal Murray. And that's actually the really interesting news. So Jamal Murray is expected to travel with the team on this 5-game road trip that they have coming up. Now, that doesn't mean that he's guaranteed to play, but it means that he will be there. And if he's feeling like, the next several days that, he's 100% plus, because that's the thing with hamstring injuries is that you're already 100% when you come back, but they want him to be 100%, and there's no possibility that you're going to run into any re-injury, anything like that. So that's why they're taking so much time with him being away. Yeah, look, Steve, what can you do? 30, 14, and 8 on a 65% true shooting. That's insane. Like, again, you've never seen a stat line like that. So that stuff is just wild to me, y'all. So it's just been a crazy year. Zion Williamson on the year is averaging 21, 6.6, and 4.2, 54 true shooting. Not the best year from Zion Williamson so far. Maybe he picks it up as the season goes on, and then he continues to get more and more ready to play basketball again. Brandon Ingram on the year is averaging 23 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 5 assists with a 55 true shooting as well. So they have a couple of really good players in their roster. CJ McCollum is still going to be out. They're still going to have a nice collection of bench players. Last time Jordan Hawkins just, what's funny? Every time I think of Jordan Hawkins, some of y'all might be Stranger Things fans because the school's called Hawkins, the school that they're a part of or whatever. So every time I watch Jordan Hawkins and he made 7 3-pointers versus the Denver Nuggets in that first game, I just keep thinking Stranger Things, like you just don't know what's coming around the corner. And so this is going to be a really interesting game because the Pelicans, if they want to stay anywhere near the playoff picture early in the season, they're going to need to get a win because the Denver Nuggets are a half game ahead of the Mavericks in the standings. Basically a full. They're basically they're a half game ahead of the standings. They're 1 game ahead of the Timberwolves in the standings. The Pelicans are sitting at the 10th seed, which is I predicted they would be coming into this year because they're sitting at 5-6. They're behind. They're tied with the Suns. They're right behind the Warriors, but the Warriors are also 6-5 themselves, and the Warriors just can't get right, and especially without Steph Curry. The Lakers are at 6-6. They're a half game in front of the Pelicans. The Kings are at 6-4. They're 1.5 games above the Pelicans, and then the Thunder are at 8-4, and they are 2.5 games above. So if the Pelicans lose tonight, they'll be 5-7 on the year in the first 12 games. And again, with the team that's trying to figure out its identity, that's just not something you want to do. So I do think that the New Orleans Pelicans are going to come out smoking today. So I think it's going to be up to Joker, Michael Porter Jr., who only had 10 points and 5 rebounds last game versus the Clippers. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who's having a really slept-on year so far. And then on top of that, obviously Reggie Jackson and Aaron Gordon coming out and having much better games. Not that they had bad games, but it just in terms of just investing in making sure the opening of the game is really solid. Getting that accomplished because setting the tone versus this Pelicans team, whose bench is pretty good, is going to be pretty important. And so, speaking in Contavious Caldwell Pope, by the way, Contavious, KCP, Kenny Pope, he's averaging 10 points a game, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists on 63% true shooting. Y'all, KCP, though, is shooting 45% from 3 and 87.5% from the line. He's actually cooking this year. And he's been one of the best role players in the NBA. You know, somebody asked me, somebody said on Twitter, is Derek White the best role player in the league? And I think that you can make an argument for him, but I think it might be Aaron Gordon. Depends on how you feel about Michael Porter Jr., but I think Aaron Gordon, just what he does from a versatility standpoint on both ends of the ball, like it's just something that he does that you really can't replicate. So I think tonight that the Nuggets starters need to come out and set the tone, get a good lead, get the rest of the team, get the bench going, and then help them. We're going to talk about them in the third segment, but really set the tone that way everybody can buy in to what needs to be accomplished today. But again, the Nuggets obviously can do it. They have the best team, I think, in the league. The bench has been playing better at different points in times this year, but hopefully they get a resurgence after having a down 2 game. But y'all, we're going to be back for segment 3 and talk about the Denver Nuggets bench and what are some things they can do to continue to try to fix the bench. We'll be right back. So, Prize Picks, y'all. Prize Picks. What is Prize Picks? It is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play Dynasty. If you like playing Dynasty, this Prize Picks is great because yesterday I started Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Joe Burrow goes down with an injury. I also start Mark Andrews in the league. Mark Andrews goes down with an injury yesterday. But the great thing about Prize Picks is that Prize Picks offers a reboot policy that your entries stay in place even if one of your players gets injured. For football or basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, that player is rebooted. Prize Pick is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. So make sure you go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use LockedOnNBA for the first deposit match up to $100. All right, we are back for segment 3, and I am really, really excited to see what the Denver Nuggets do tonight with this bench unit. Now, last game, the Denver Nuggets brought Jalen Pickett off the bench ahead of Colin Gillespie, and I actually think that was first off was a move we weren't expecting because Michael Malone had said when asked about the bench, well, who can I go to? And he didn't imply at all that he was going to play Jalen Pickett at all, but he did. Jalen actually played well. Again, Jalen didn't win his minutes by a substantial amount or anything like that. But again, with Jalen, I think a lot of the hope is, can he play well enough to be a good switch defender and to be able to create enough offense that he's helping the team around him? Now, he was a -4, but again, the bench unit was a minus yesterday for the most part, except for Peyton Watson. Jalen Pickett, again, in 17 minutes, had 5 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. He was 2 of 3 from the field. He was 1 of 2 from the three-point line, and he had a steal as well. So the thing is Jalen offers them a little bit more duality as a defender than Colin does. And again, Colin is playing as well as he can. And the guy, obviously, he's a two-way player. Jalen was drafted for a reason. But I think if I'm trying to fix the bench, I think that playing Jalen Pickett, Julian Strawther, seeing if he can replicate what he did versus New Orleans Pelicans last game, having Christian Brown, having Peyton Watson, having Zeke Naji, those would be the players that I'm rotating through off of the bench. Now, today depends on how everybody's doing. So Jokic is obviously going to be in for almost all of the first quarter. You know, Jokic has just been playing like a madman again. Without Jamal Murray this year, 34.5 points a game, 16 rebounds, 9 assists a game. Just a madman. But if Joker's not going to be, if he's going to be in the first quarter, I think it might be interesting to see what Michael Porter Jr. looks like as the first stagger with the bench. And the way that you can do it is perhaps put either Peyton Watson or Christian Brown in for Michael Porter Jr. a little bit earlier in the first quarter. And then that way, when Michael comes in the game, it's going to be Jalen Pickett will sub in for Reggie Jackson. It'll be Reggie Jackson, Julian Strawther, Peyton Watson, Michael Porter Jr., Zeke Naji. That way, you have Creator and Reggie. You have two elite shooters, Michael Porter Jr., Julian Strawther. And then you have another defender in Peyton Watson that can slash. And then you can also play Zeke Naji at the 5. That way you have a 6'3". You have 6'6" in Julian, a 6'8" in Peyton, a 6'10" in Porter, and a 6'11" in Zeke Naji. And then that way, what you then subsequently do is you have Jalen Pickett with KCP, with Aaron Gordon, with Christian Brown, and then with Nikola Jokic. And I think if you slot that in, I think letting as what you're talking about, this is exactly why. Christian Brown's confidence has not been there. He doesn't believe in his shot right now. He's been hesitant even getting to the basket at times. And he smoked a left-handed layup last game, which is just not what Christian does. Christian needs to be confident. And so what's the better way to do that than to give him Aaron Gordon and give him Nikola Jokic, who are both, obviously, Jokic is the best passer in the league. Aaron Gordon's an above-average passer. And so giving him an opportunity to be around some other passers, be able to lock in on defense. Jokic gets the ball, comes down on a fast break. Christian Brown, Aaron Gordon, the trail technique. KCP's in the corner. Woo! Christian Brown, go to the basket, dunk it home. Or Jokic gets the ball in the post. He's playing versus Jonas Valanciunas. Or, let me make sure, who did the Pelicans have anybody out tonight? So Larry Nance is game time decision. Jonas Valanciunas is going to be there. So yes, Jonas Valanciunas or Larry Nance on him. Look, Christian, cut to the basket, get some easy points. Christian just needs to get the flow of the game going and get his confidence back up. That's really what just needs to happen here. So I think running a lineup of KCP, Christian, AG, Jokic, that seems like a way to do it. And defensively, that's a really good lineup as well. The Nuggets have like a 105.6 defensive rating with Joker on the court this year, by the way, which is, yeah, it's just asinine. Like, it's just, again, he's just having an all-time season right now. But I think what that does then, too, is that takes the pressure off the bench to feel like it has to do everything. Porter, Strawther, Jackson. That's definitely one plus offensive player in Porter. Another potentially career-long plus offensive player in Julian Strawther. And then a plus offensive player per his role with the Denver Nuggets in Reggie Jackson. And then you give him Peyton Watson and Zeke Naji. That gives you a lot of switchability. That's what they love. They want to make sure that everybody is able to play defense and guard up. But then on the other side of this, that just allows for them to have some versatility in both of the lineups that they have. So defense with jokers, offense with a defensive slanted bench unit. I really think that could be something that we can look at for the Denver Nuggets. So I actually think this is going to be a great spot for them. I think the Nuggets have a really true way to get them to where they're 3-0 today. I think the Pelicans, again, they're going to come out a little bit desperate because they need to get a win. But the Nuggets, say what you want. They've been playing well in the NBA in-season tournament so far. They've been playing well in the NBA in-season tournament. And I love that the Nuggets have multiple NBA in-season tournament games as well this week. That's actually a lot of fun. Would y'all like to – so here we go. So I think that tonight, if I can give y'all my guesstimate on what the final score will be today. In New Orleans, I think that the Denver Nuggets will win a lower scoring game, maybe. I'm going to say the Denver Nuggets win tonight 113 to 106. 113 106 is going to be my final score prediction. So I think Joker is going to have 32. I don't know. It's in New Orleans. They've been kind of scoring a little high in New Orleans. Matter of fact, I'm going to go a little higher because it's in New Orleans. It's going to take a little bit more scoring, perhaps. I'm going to say 117, 110. 117, 110. I like that. I like the Dijon. Yeah, 107 to 97. I'm going to say 117 to 110. Joker probably goes for like 36, 15, and 11. 36, 15, and 11 for Joker tonight in the win. I think he's going to shoot above 60% from the field. He might make 2 threes tonight as well. So make sure y'all lock in the prize picks. Lock in the prize picks. Put that in your daily fantasy, and just give you a look at that. I think 117, 110 final score. I think a really good game from KCP. I think Porter has another 2010 game in the system tonight as well, y'all. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Again, make sure if you're listening to this later, put your top 5 teams in the comment section. Give your final score predictions for the Denver Nuggets, New Orleans Pelicans game, y'all. And we're going to lock in. I will see y'all next week. I'll be back up with you on Tuesday. You'll have Matt and Adam for Monday night. You'll have Matt for Tuesday. You'll have me for Tuesday with Matt. You'll have Adam and Matt again on Wednesday, and then me on Thursdays and on Fridays, y'all. Hey, I'll see y'all on the other side. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Locked On Nuggets, y'all. I'll see y'all soon.